Chainsaw Man episode 10, Bruised and Battered. So yeah, we get the fallout from the Division 4 attack. And we start off with Aki in a hospital room, and we get the news report that's talking about the conflict that went down between the Devil Hunters and the humans. And Power and Denji are there. And Denji's eating an apple while reading a manga, and Power's kind of reading the manga with him over his shoulder. Denji's just basically taking apples out of a basket, a get well basket for Aki. And as he's eating an apple, Power sees it, and Power gets into a fight with Denji because she wants the apple. It's kind of funny because it's like, why don't you just take an apple from the basket? Why do you need Denji's specific apple? But then Denji also comes back with, no, they're all mine. Which is like, no, they're actually supposed to be for Aki, but Denji's just eating them all. And that's when Aki wakes up and he asks if anyone survived. And basically both of them are kind of shocked that he's awake, and then Power uses this to her advantage to steal an apple from Denji. And Denji just basically says, yeah, Kobeni survived and the dude with glasses survived. The dude with glasses being Madoka, the smartest guy in this entire series, who quit while he was still alive. But yeah, Denji tells Aki that Makima wants to talk to him in Power, so they're going to leave. And he sees that Aki is kind of like upset, and so he leaves an apple behind for Aki. He's like, here, I'm going to leave this for you. Meanwhile, he's going to take the rest of the apples. It's just, I don't know. It made me laugh because it's like, that basket was for Aki. It would be like going to like a birthday party and then cutting a slice of the birthday cake, and then rather than taking that slice for yourself, you leave that slice behind and you take the whole cake for yourself. Like, it's just kind of messed up. But, yeah, Power and Denji leave the room. Aki pulls out his cursed sword and he asks the cursed devil, how much longer do I have left? Basically, how much longer of his lifespan does he have? And the cursed devil tells him 2 years. And Aki decides to smoke. And as he's lighting his cigarette, he has flashbacks to Himeno lighting cigarettes for him. And he starts breaking down and crying. So Himeno gets her wish. Aki shares some tears due to her death. Yeah, as he's crying outside the door, Denji is overhearing this. And Denji's like, oh man, I just came back for my manga and this dude's crying. And then he starts thinking like, I haven't shed any tears for any of my coworkers who died. If Aki were to die, would I shed some tears? Probably not. If Power were to die, would I shed some tears? Probably not. If Makima were to die, would I shed any tears? And he's like, well, I might be crying. I might be upset for 3 days, but then afterwards, since I have 3 meals a day and a shelter, I'll probably be okay. And then he starts thinking about maybe he lost more than just his human heart. So yeah, we get Denji kind of self-reflecting on if there's something wrong with him, if he's becoming more devil than human now. But eventually they leave. And as they're leaving, Michiko and Yutaro go to visit Aki and basically say that we're going to be your advisors. You got a lot of work ahead of you, so we're going to try to make you stronger so you can survive. And then we cut to Denji, Power, and Makima at the cemetery. And she basically tells them that the hotel incident and the recent attack shows that these devils are after Denji. And so Denji asks if Makima is going to train them. And Makima says, no, I'm too busy, but I got someone who will be training you. And this is where we see Kishibe. He's the older blonde-haired dude who we saw earlier with Himeno in a previous episode in the cemetery, like during one of her flashbacks. And he's basically like the best devil hunter in the world. And he basically asks him some questions. He's like, first, how'd you feel about your comrades dying? And he's like, and Denji says, okay, I guess. And Power's like, I just thought they died. And he's like, okay, do you want revenge? And Denji's like, nah, that shit's depressing. And Power agrees. He says, humans or devil, which side are you on? And Denji responds with, whichever one's going to take good care of me. And Power says, whichever side's winning, I guess. And Kishibe is like, all right, you pass. You get full points. You're a rare breed. I love it. And so, yeah, Power's like, okay, I'm a little bit frightened. This guy's weird. And Kishibe tells Makima she can leave. And so she leaves. And Kishibe goes and he puts his arms around Power and Denji and says, I love it when people call me teacher. So that's what you're going to call me. I also love booze, women, and killing devils. That's when he squeezes Power and Denji's necks, and he basically breaks it. So he breaks Denji and Power's necks. They're paralyzed, laying on the floor on top of each other. And he says, you might have the same bodies as humans, but you can recover just by drinking blood. So he pulls out 2 blood packs, gives it to them, and he explains that the reason he did that is because Makima asked him to train them. And for some reason, the Gun Devil is after Denji's heart. Makima is worried that Denji is weak, and he's been training humans, and he's never trained devils before. And so he basically just shot back a bunch of drinks, got drunk, trying to come up with an idea on how he can train 2 devils. And he realized, well, since I'm the strongest devil hunter, the devil that defeats me must be the strongest too. So I'm going to keep hunting you guys until you defeat me. And Denji and Power are like, all right, this guy's got a few screws loose. And then he attacks him. And Denji's like, well, we can't kill him, because if we kill him, then public hunter division's going to come after us. So Power creates a hammer out of blood, gives it to Denji. Denji goes to try to hammer this dude, and he stabs Denji several times, takes him out. Power tries to use this to her advantage to do a sneak attack, but he ends up cutting Power's throat. And Power's basically bleeding to death. And he basically says that Denji's pretty much immortal. As long as if he gets some blood, he's okay. Power's semi-immortal. And he kind of says, well, like, when I was young, I had toys, but I was constantly breaking them because I was too strong. And I always wanted toys that can take a beating. And I'm going to make you to the best that I can. So basically, kind of hinting that he's going to beat the shit out of them until they get stronger. But yeah, we cut back to Aki at the hospital. He tries to summon Khan, but Khan won't show up. And that's when Yutaro tells him that Khan's upset with Aki because Aki forced Khan to bite off more than, he can handle. And he says that you can only use that cursed devil a couple more times. So what you need is we need you to form a contract with another devil, another stronger devil. So we're going to take you somewhere where you can form a contract with someone stronger. And they start to leave. And as they leave, a woman enters. And Aki is like really shocked to see this woman. It's like, oh, who can this woman be? Well, I'll share that with you later. So we come back to the cemetery. It's nighttime. Kishibe has beaten the crap out of Denji and Power. Both of them are kind of just like almost mind broken. Denji especially. Denji's kind of just like making noises and drawing on himself. And he says, well, I'm going to leave and meet you guys tomorrow at your place. And Power realizes that, Denji's brain has broken. So she starts just pounding on his head, telling him to come back. And it works. Denji comes back to his senses. And he asks Power, how many times have I died today? And Power says, I don't know, like maybe at least 20, but I was unconscious for most of it. So I can't be sure. And they're walking back home down the deserted highway. And Denji's like, man, like all I wanted was just to live like a good life. And I can't live happily if this is what we're going to have to be doing every day. Like if I'm going to have to be dying 20 times or more a day, this is just going to be such a drag. And Power's like, well, should we run? Like we can run away together. Then he's like, nah, because if we do, then public safety is just going to hunt them down like devils. And he's like really upset that, Kishibe is so strong. He's like, we got to come up with something. And that's when Power has an idea. Power states that Kishibe's brain is run from all the alcohol he's been taking in. So we should use our brains to beat him. And Denji's like, yeah, that sounds like an awesome idea. Like, I always wanted to be like one of those smart characters in a manga. And the two like feel like their intelligence has already gone up just from coming up with this plan. And they already like feel smarter already. And Power's like, yeah, I already came up with like 100 plans we can use. So now it's like, all right, who's going to win? 2 Nobel Peace Prize winners or a crazy alcoholic? We cut to Power and Denji the next day at their apartment wearing glasses because, when you use your brains and when you're trying to be smart, you got to look the part too, right? So I freaking love this. This is like one of my favorite scenes in the entire manga is Power and Denji wearing glasses because they think it'll make them smarter. So yeah, they're wearing glasses to look smarter. They're waiting for Kishibe to come, and so he arrives at their door, and that's when Power cuts her hand, forms a blood spear, and throws it through the door. And it almost impales Kishibe, but he's able to do like a matrix dodge. And as he's invading this, Power starts doing some motions with their hands, and we cut to the floor above their apartment where a bunch of bottles of blood has been prepared. And she basically moves her hand down, and the blood in the bottles disappear and form spikes that come through the ceiling and try to impale Kishibe, but he dodges all those and starts punching the spears and breaking them into pieces. And as his attention is occupied on this, Denji, who's up on the floor above as well with an axe, jumps down on the floor below and is about to swing at Kishibe when he kicks Denji in the face, knocks his glasses off, and just knocks him to the floor. And Kishibe says, this was your best attempt yet. Like, you guys should use your brain more. You failed, though, for two reasons. One, Power used way too much of her blood, and when she does that, she becomes anemic and basically useless. And two, Denji, you failed to predict my attacks. So he's like, well, other than that, you guys did a really good job. I think we're going to be done for the day. And he starts walking away, and Denji's happy. He's like, all right, well, at least I don't get to die today. So he tells Power, and I like how Denji now calls Power Powie, because they're friends now, but they don't ever acknowledge it. But yeah, he tells Power, hey, you should feel lucky. We're done for today. And Power's like, yay. And as Denji is about to get up, Kishibe throws a knife into his head, stabbing him in the brain, and tells him, devil should never trust a hunter. Yeah, we cut back to Michiko and Yutaro, who are taking Aki to this special facility and basically explaining to him that we need you to form a contract with the strong devil, and that's what we're going to do. And as they're going down, he asks, who was that mysterious girl that entered your room after we left? Is that your girlfriend? And Aki explains, no, that's Himeno's sister. Yutaro is like, oh, she probably came to give you a bunch of shit, huh? Aki's like, no, she just wanted to give me a letter that Himeno wrote. And he's reading the letter, and the letter is a letter addressed to Himeno's sister from Himeno. Basically, he's saying, everything's going okay over here. How's dad doing? Make sure he's okay. Make sure he's taking his meds. And the part that really sticks out to Aki is the part where she mentions Aki and how she wants to quit the public safety and go freelance. And she wants Aki to join her. And she actually brought up the fact to Aki, and Aki just brushed her off. And Himeno mentions that she was actually serious about it. So in the flashback, it didn't really seem kind of serious, like she kind of played it off. But she was actually being serious. And I'm thinking she probably played it off because she was actually hurt, that Aki didn't even give any thought to it. He just immediately shut that down. So she kind of played it off as a joke. But yeah, basically just kind of goes to show that Himeno didn't want to stay in public safety. She wanted to quit with Aki, and they can create their own firm and stuff and just fight together. And I'm wondering if Aki's probably thinking, if we had done that, she would probably still be alive today. But eventually they come to a cell, and Yutaro and Michiko tell Aki that inside is the future devil. And only two people have made contracts with the future devil. One had to give half his lifespan, and the other had to give their eyes, their sense of taste, and sense of smell. We're hoping that maybe you can get a bargain from him. But yeah, they open up the cell. Aki goes in, and we don't really see the future devil. We just see its eyeball before the episode ends. But I'm really excited to see people's reactions to the reveal of the future devil. Let's just say it's not what you're expecting. The build-up is kind of leading you to believe the future devil is one thing, but then the reveal is going to be something different, and I'm going to kind of leave it at that. Well, I'll just say one more thing. The future is awesome. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing people's reaction to the future devil. That's going to be real exciting. But yeah, there you go. There's episode 10. We got 2 more. So I guess this season is going to end with the end of the Katana Man arc, which means that at some point we are going to get one of my favorite scenes. But it's the scene where Denji and Power in an elevator. I've been really looking forward to that. Basically, there's been 4 scenes I've been really looking forward to. One of them we just saw in this episode, which was Power and Denji with glasses trying to be smart. Because like Power and Denji basically share a single brain cell. So them trying to act smart and then wearing glasses to actually make them appear smarter was just hilarious to me. So I was really looking forward to seeing that, and we got that. The other scene is Power and Denji in an elevator, which should happen in the next 2 episodes. The next scene, I don't think, no, we're not going to get because it's in a different arc. So it will be in season 2, I believe. It's going to be Power behind the wheel of a car. I'll just leave it at that. And then the final scene I'm looking forward to is, I'm not going to say who's involved. I'll just say Dance Dance Revolution. So anyone who's read the manga knows exactly what I'm talking about. Anyone who hasn't, well, you're just going to have to wait. But yeah, those are the scenes I'm really looking forward to seeing animated. But yeah, as for this episode, I liked it. This was more of a, I mean, kind of like the title said, Bruised and Battered. This is just like the fallout. Wasn't really too much action, I guess. I mean, we had some with Power and Denji and their training with Sensei. But other than that, this was just more of a very character-driven episode. We got to see the characters' fallouts. We got to see Aki, crying for Himeno and his reaction to her death, and just the fallout what happened, as well as realizing that he needs to get stronger by forging a contract with the stronger devil. We got some self-reflecting from Denji, realizing that his heart, no longer being human, might have affected him in more ways than just turning him into Chainsaw Man. And yeah, we just got awesome moments between Power and Denji. Like, I freaking love those two together. They're just such a comedic duo. But yeah, this was a good episode. I liked it. We got 2 more left, which will conclude the Katana Man arc. And then, yeah, that'll be the end of the season. It's been a good run so far. But there you go. Chainsaw Man episode 10. I don't know what else to say. I liked it. I like this season in general. This whole series has just been awesome. When it comes to adaptations, this is what we need more of. Like, Japan does it right for the most part. There have been some anime that have tried to adapt manga and just failed because they kind of go off script or they just aren't completely faithful. But this is how you faithfully adapt something. And I wish Hollywood would take notes because, I mean, just an example, I just saw some more notes on The Witcher, the prequel, as well as like what season 3 is going to be. And it's like, Jesus Christ. Like, come on, man. If you're going to adapt something, then be faithful to it. Like this. This series is 100% faithful to the manga. It not only is it 100% faithful, but some of the things that are anime exclusive actually help build some of the foundation that the manga laid down. One of the moments was Aki going through his daily ritual. It was kind of a nice, quiet, character reflecting moment. Or Himeno trying to get Denji into her bed. Like, that was anime exclusive. Like, her struggling to get him onto the bed. So it was kind of like a nice little touch. And I liked how they had more of a moment with Himeno on the episode where she's going to die. So her death has more of a bigger punch. And the things that they did cut out from the manga are things that the anime can do without. Like the muscle devil. I did kind of, I don't want to say complain, but I did kind of bring up that, it was kind of a shame that they cut it out because it would have given us just like another fight scene and stuff. But I mean, I also said that looking back on it, it doesn't really have any great impact on the series in general. So it's something that could have easily have been cut and not affect the story in any way, which it hasn't. And this is what Hollywood needs to take notes on. Stay faithful to what you're adapting. If you're going to add new stuff, have it just build upon the foundations that whatever you're adapting has already set. And if you're going to cut things out, have it be things that won't impact the story or characters in general. And yeah, stay faithful to what's there. If characters are a certain way, if they're a certain gender, if they're a certain race, if they're just act a certain way, whatever, keep it that way. Don't go like swapping characters just because you want to push some kind of agenda or anything like that. Like, stay faithful. I mean, look at Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings was pretty faithful to the message of the books. There are things that were movie exclusive. There are things that they had to cut out, things that are different. But the feel, the spirit of the books still remained in the movie. And yeah, I'm kind of rambling about that, but I just felt like this was like a good example to use of how to do an adaptation. It would be this series, and how not to do an adaptation would just basically be just look at anything from Amazon or Netflix or Hollywood in general. But yeah, I'm kind of just ranting on that now. I'm gonna stop. Great episode, awesome series. Sad to see that's coming to an end soon, but then again, I mean, that's just the end of the season. I'm assuming we're gonna get a season 2 because this series seems to have been gotten a lot of praise and a lot of hype and a lot of watch time and stuff. Like, it seems to be a huge success. So we're pretty much guaranteed a season 2. I'd be really shocked if we didn't. So yeah, looking forward to season 2. And then, but yeah, there you go. Awesome. Hope you enjoyed the video. Take care. Later.